Well, after more than a year and a half of speculation about a property in Fort Smith, we now know what Project X will be. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer shares more about the popular outdoor retailer coming to the River Valley.
This is an incredible opportunity.
The fate of the old Best Buy building along I-540 has been up in the air until now. Project X was brought to Fort Smith city directors back in 2023. They originally wanted to give incentives for an unnamed retail company to take over the location.
There was talks of giving them some sort of tax incentives in the beginning, but that would require state legislative action in order to make that happen.
City leaders confirm what once was mysterious Project X is now to be a Bass Pro Shop sitting right here in Fort Smith. They say it'll bring a large economic impact to the area as a retail destination.
People are going to be coming to shop at Bass Pro, for instance, but they're going to be staying here. They're going to be eating, dining here, and doing other shopping here.
The company finally announcing it'll be a 70,000 square foot outpost location. Bass Pro Shops decided to come without any incentive, says Josh Bufink with the city. City Director Neil Martin says it feels good to finally announce what's filling that empty space.
We had people coming up to us all the time, what's Project X, what's Project X? And you know, we had to be careful. I think it's something that we were excited hearing about back then, and I think all of us wanted to share who that was, and now we get the opportunity to do that today.
And says the company saw potential in the River Valley.
When Bass Pro comes to your city, it speaks to the strength, it speaks to what they believe of the area. And I think it's nothing but positive that we're going to see growth, we're going to see additional things coming around this area.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Very exciting. Well, the store is set to open in early 2026. And last we heard, back in April of 2023, the city told us the employer behind the secretive project would employ 93 people with an average salary of $53,000. Well, the Fayetteville Planning Commission deciding to hold off on approving or denying the proposed student housing complex on Dixon and Block Street in the heart of downtown. The proposal includes a 185-unit building with more than 600 bedrooms, but it's faced a lot of pushback from people who live around it who are worried about the traffic, their property values, and changes in their neighborhood.
I value the university. I do value students. I have a lot of them that are in my business every single day. But let me tell you, students do not become regulars in the way that you need regulars to survive.
The students turn over their rentals constantly. We take this into consideration. Students have more visitors than anyone else, so you're going to have people in and out of these places nonstop.
The Planning Commission still wants answers from the developer of the site. They will talk about the proposal again later this month. And happening now in LaFleur County, a few law enforcement agencies are searching for 2 inmates who escaped from a prison over the weekend. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections says Justin Turner and David James walked away from the Jim E. Hamilton Correctional Center together on Saturday. Turner is serving a 5-year sentence for assault and battery on a police officer and drug trafficking in Oklahoma County. James is serving a 16-year sentence for possession of drugs with intent to distribute. If you see either man, authorities want you to stay away from them and simply call 911. The Fort Smith Civil Service Commission voting to uphold the firing of a police officer today. Dalton Tucker was fired after the department says they uncovered a pattern of serious misconduct allegations among him and 5 other officers on the night shift. The department says that misconduct included hazing, pointing loaded firearms at fellow officers, and spark testing tasers. Well, some research universities are worried about the potential for major funding cuts. The White House wants to put a cap on how much colleges and nonprofits can get from the National Institutes of Health. Maya Ellison explains what it could mean for programs in Arkansas.
But what I can tell you is that if we lose this money, Arkansas as a state that loses. We lose.
On Friday, the National Institutes of Health announced it's lowering the, quote, maximum indirect cost rate research institutions can charge the government to 15%. impacting the amount of money organizations can receive for research funding nationwide.
That would mean partners like UAMS, U of A system, and Arkansas Cancer Coalition would lose millions of dollars as it relates to cancer control and other health-related research.
Even universities and other organizations like Arkansas Children's Hospital could feel its effects.
Our babies, a lot of them have blood-borne cancers. It requires the research.
Trina Mitchell with the Arkansas Cancer Coalition says they're almost 100% funded by state and federal grants, receiving about $300,000 from the NIH. With those cuts, she says they could face a damaging loss that would be felt for years.
This was a multi-million-dollar grant over a 10-year span. So you're looking at maybe losing out upwards of $5–6 million.
Organizations like UAMS receive about 70 to 80% of NIH funding, even recently receiving a $2.9 million grant to study a virus that can trigger cancers. In a statement from Vice Chancellor Leslie Taylor, she says the effects of a 15% cut would, quote, result in an annualized loss of more than $10 million.
Well, for one, it means that this project will no longer be in existence. We cannot move forward with making sure the residents of St. Francis County have access to cancer screenings. And it also means that we will have to rework our budgets and scale down what we offer to our residents here in Arkansas.
And Mitchell says the cuts can hurt much more than organizations.
It's going to affect how doctors talk to their patients about what's needed for their health care.
That was Maya Ellison reporting. Meanwhile, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed a bill that will guarantee paychecks for local government employees during a shutdown. This bill was introduced as Jefferson County has been in a shutdown for most of this new year, leaving county employees with no paychecks. The only exceptions are members of the quorum court and the county judge, who will not receive their paychecks until they approve a new budget. Well, if your pets are microchipped, you might want to check what company it's with. This comes after microchip company Save This Life unexpectedly closed. Now, pet owners are having to register their microchips with other companies. The company's website is still allowing owners to view their pets' information, but it might no longer be registered on any national database. Other microchip companies to consider are AKC Reunited, PetLink, Date Mars, or Home Again. Practice manager at All Dogs Clinic, Megan Blackburn, says their clinic uses Home Again, and they have a microchip scanner outside the clinic for people to use 24/7.
Your chips are typically between the shoulder blades on any pet, but obviously scan the whole body, they can migrate. You come up, you turn it on, you scan your pet. There's a website that it gives you the option to put in that 15-digit number that you get off the scanner. We provide business cards and a Sharpie to write that number down in case it goes off the scanner too quickly. You'll look it up, it tells you the name of the company that it's registered to.
Blackburn says it's important to microchip your pet, so if they do go missing, whoever finds them can bring them in and have their chip scanned so you can be reunited. Well, speaking of pets, today Lyon College gave people an update on their plans to bring a veterinarian school to the Natural State. It'll be the first ever of its kind in Arkansas. They initially planned on putting the campus in Little Rock before eventually deciding on Cabot, with plans for a 2026 opening.
That's going to be absolutely critical for our program and for our students. Being close to the capital city and being close to population centers like Little Rock, that's going to be wonderful because we're going to have access to a wide variety of cases, and that's going to be critical for the training of our students.
The first veterinary class is expected to have about 120 students. It'll be a 3-year program with courses every month of the year.